We've talked a lot about what we're delivering at the moment, things that we're delivering in the next couple of weeks, next couple of days, things that you can touch and feel. I'd like to introduce up on stage somebody who's working on the future, and the various programs and projects that he has under the office of the CTO. It is my proud pleasure to introduce up on stage Nelson Petracek, our global CTO.
Oh, man.
You got the name mostly right. Hey, break a leg.
That was awesome. Yep, thank you. All right. All right, welcome everybody. And I did talk to HR about my dress, so it did get passed. So that's all good. Anybody that knows me knows I will rarely wear a suit jacket, so I got away with it this time. All right, so here today, I want to talk to you a little bit about innovation. You've heard a lot about innovation today. You've heard a lot about what it might mean. How many people in this room enjoy working on projects that have innovation attached to them? There we go. So what does innovation actually mean? Does it mean something new? Does it mean we get to work on the latest and greatest emerging technology? Here, what I would say is that innovation, as we've heard, is all around value. What value am I bringing to the customer? What value am I bringing to the partner, who then in turn is taking additional value to their customers? So innovation has always been at the heart of what TIBCO has done. We've always focused on how we can bring value to our customers, whether it's providing something new or whether it's making something that exists something better. Now, how can we bring innovation, though, closer to our customers and partners? How can we allow you to participate in the innovation process at TIBCO? We've always had an innovation process. We've got a number of programs that we utilize internally, but how can we make that a more formal program that you can participate in as a customer or as a partner? So that's why today, I'm very pleased to announce the program, TIBCO Labs. TIBCO Labs is that customer and partner-facing program that allows you to participate in the innovation process at TIBCO. You want to collaborate with TIBCO on some kind of new innovative idea? Are you trying to solve some sort of very complicated kind of business problem? Are you looking to understand what things like blockchain, AI, ML, IoT, all these latest buzzwords mean to your organization? That is what TIBCO Labs is for. Customer-facing, partner-facing, engage with us, and help us actually deliver on the value that innovation promises. So when you look at innovation, underneath the TIBCO Labs program, there's a number of different projects, because one of the things we want to let you do is not only just collaborate and work with us around innovation, but also participate in projects to give you a little bit of an insight into some of the things that we are working on as an organization. So I'm going to talk about some of those projects, and I think you'll find some of these very, very interesting. So one of the first ones that I'll talk about is something that we're calling cloud starters. When you go to build an application, what do you need to consider? You need to consider, how do I tie in microservices? What do I do with APIs? Where do analytics fit into this? What do I do with case management processes? All of these things can be very, very complicated. I need to figure out where they run. I need to determine what a reference architecture and best practice situation would look like. And I need to kind of sort through and integrate these things before I build the actual application. Cloud starters are quick template applications deployed on the TIBCO Connected Intelligence Cloud, really meant to give you a quick start into building applications that can utilize one or all of the domain capabilities on the TIBCO Connected Intelligence Cloud. So we're going to release 2 initial projects on the TIBCO Cloud. One is going to be called My Partner App, which will really be focused on enabling partners to communicate and exchange information with one another. And the other one is going to be a risk investigation app, which is based on supervised and unsupervised learning models to actually allow you to identify transactions that might be fraudulent or risky. So let's take a look and see what one of those projects actually looks like. So in this particular case, we can see that when I'm using the Cloud Starter, I'm using a seamless kind of view into various different domain capabilities on the TIBCO Cloud. I can look at different applications. I can see fraudulent transactions. I can select those transactions. I can then automatically, from the Spotfire view, in essence, send those right to the Live Apps view. and start to actually identify who's going to actually track and manage each one of those cases. I can go ahead and view different metrics about those cases, look at various analytics, and again, I'm doing this by using the different domain capabilities on the TIBCO Cloud. I can assign these transactions so that somebody can go ahead and review them, and then I can actually look to see, well, what other actions do I need to perform with these transactions, and who's actually going to be responsible for either handling an escalation process or things like resolving the actual issue itself. So these are all capabilities that, of course, you can expose to the TIBCO Connected Intelligence Cloud platform, and the investigation app will show you how to bring all those pieces together. So those are TIBCO Cloud starters. Quick template applications really designed to give you a view into how you can use the domain applications on the TIBCO Cloud to build your own applications. Blockchain. How many people in this room have heard of blockchain? If we have Bitcoin investors in the room, well, actually, you shouldn't be here. You should have sold a while ago, and you should all be retired somewhere. But blockchain is kind of the underpinning technology behind things like Bitcoin, Ethereum. There's literally 100 different frameworks that exist out there. So what I'm here to talk to you today is about, well, what is TIBCO doing in the blockchain space? Of course, our products fit very nicely into this area in terms of how you want to allow enterprises to consume blockchain technology. But we also wanted to be more specific. We wanted to introduce capabilities that are really geared towards allowing you to consume blockchain technology easier, faster, and more cheaply. And don't worry, if our CFO is here in the audience, it's not a TIBCoin. I'm not introducing a TIBCoin here, although we can have that conversation after. But really what I want to do is I want to talk about smart contracts. Smart contracts are business logic embedded in your blockchain network. It's where the heart of that logic sits. I'm going to distribute that to all the nodes. I'm going to use it to actually automate transactions throughout the network. I want to utilize smart contracts. But these are difficult to write. The languages are often proprietary. Every blockchain framework has its own language, its own approach, its own set of capabilities. If I write my business logic for one application or framework, I'm basically tied to that framework. Right? So these are obviously issues. So how can we make blockchain smart contracts smarter? And so what we wanted to do was we wanted to leverage the capabilities from our project Flogo, very lightweight, allows you to create orchestrations, allows you to create streams, allows you to define rules, all the different things you just heard about, and we wanted to apply those to a blockchain context. So I'm pleased to announce today that Project Dovetail will allow you to make your blockchain smart contracts smarter. I'll be able to model my smart contract logic, and I will be able to deploy it to the blockchain of choice, eliminating the vendor or framework lock-in and the need to learn or work with a proprietary language. So this is the fun one. As anybody in my team knows, I can talk about this one for hours. Matt told me I only have a few minutes, so I'll leave it at that. But Project Dovetail, very, very exciting. Blockchain agnostic, make your smart contracts smarter. Now, as we know, blockchain has a number of different use cases. Blockchain also has a very big role in maintaining audit trails. But you don't necessarily always need a blockchain to do that. You often want to incorporate audit trail and audit tracking capabilities in your own applications. You're building your applications, you want to manage key states in a business transaction. You want to keep certain records for regulatory compliance reasons, right? You want to maintain an audit trail. And this can also be something that's difficult to write and create on your own right from scratch. And so what we've done, we've introduced a project referred to as Audit Safe. Audit Safe will exist on the TIBCO Cloud. And with Audit Safe, you can actually define an audit trail and send transactions to this audit trail through the application of your choice, whether it's through BusinessWorks or Flogo native plugins, which we provide as well, or whether it's through a nice clean set of APIs that you can use within your own application. You can send these transactions to Audit Safe. Audit Safe will securely record those transactions. It will allow access to those transactions. You'll be able to see things like SLAs. You'll be able to actually monitor and track the transaction path. You will have complete visibility into the overall transactions that make up a business process, all through Project or Cloud Audit Safe. Now, Audit Safe has also worked with TIBCO Labs around Project Dovetail so that you can actually add a blockchain-backed audit ledger to your audit trail. further extending the security, the immutability, the transparency, even the smart contract logic around the audit trail-based transactions. Now moving on, data today, as we know, has gotten very, very complicated. It's very, very connected. It's got a lot of relationships embedded within it. And the information that we're utilizing and storing is no longer sufficiently held in things like a relational model. So that is why, from a TIBCO graph database standpoint, we've introduced this project last year. So the graph database has actually seen a resurgence in use, and we've been working heavily behind the scenes to actually further augment the graph database to make it ready for enterprise use cases. But at this point, what I'd like to do is I'd like to ask Suresh and Katie to run through a little bit video and tell you what we've been doing when it pertains to the graph database.
My name is Suresh Subramani, Chief Scientist at TIBCO. GraphDB is a true relational database built on graph theory. It leverages the power of relationships to solve connected and reachability problems. Now let me hand it over to Katie to explain the complexity of connectedness with an example we can all relate to.
Hi, my name is Katie Taylor, and I'm an architect on the GraphDB team. I'm sure most of you took a flight to get here today. This is a map of commercial flight routes. We presented a series of travel-related questions with an increasing number of stops. The solution to the problem had nonlinear computational complexity. We compared TIBCO GraphDB's performance for this case with other database technologies. As you can see in this graph, our results have a gradual curvature for a higher number of stops compared to others. That is, we have better CPU utilization in terms of throughput and latency, meaning we're cooler and faster. And now back to Suresh.
Thanks, Katie. That was a great example describing the simplicity of connectedness and reachability. Of course, we understand no one likes to take more than 2 stops in a flight. The technology can be used to tackle computationally intensive problems in the field of AI, machine learning, IoT, GDPR, cybersecurity, customer behavior, and many others. I'm excited to announce the next version of TIBCO Graph Database that is available on Marketplace, is GPU-enabled and secure.
Excellent. Thanks, Suresh and Katie. And Suresh, I promised that I would say this. The graph database solves computationally complex problems of connectivity and reachability at high speed and efficiency. And if you'd like to know what that means, check out his booth at the Technology Showcase, definitely. He's going to hurt me for that one. All right. Now, there's many different use cases around graph database, as we've heard Suresh talk about. Right? It's all about efficiently dealing with highly connected data, whether it's social media data, whether it's IoT data, or any essentially complex data relationships that I need to store, access, and understand. But one of the things is, it's very, very useful for representing the knowledge that sits within an organization. If I have multiple data kind of silos, and I want to best represent the linkages between those silos, and I want to allow users to easily navigate through that data, how would I do that? How many people in here use a search engine? And it's a very natural way. I mean, everybody does. It's a very natural way of actually working with information. So how can I do that with enterprise data? And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to investigate how can we combine techniques from the graph database world, along with natural language processing, grammars, and a few other techniques, put a nice, easy-to-use interface on top of it, and allow you to have a conversation with your enterprise data. What would that look like? To us, that looks like Project Cloud Conversations. So today I'm pleased to announce that we are releasing Project Cloud Conversations so that you can try it out on the TIBCO Connected Intelligence Cloud. We've loaded some information into this particular system so you can go and try it, but you definitely would want to talk to us about how you can get your own data into the system so that you can then go ahead and have a conversation with your data. And I should have a little video about that to give you an idea of what that looks like. So as you can see, we took a bunch of data from donations. So this is about 1 million or so donations, I believe, that were loaded. Donations have things like projects, vendors, resources, and so on. But I can just start asking it questions. If I wanted to kind of drill down and see what some project information is as it relates to these donations, I can do that. I can drill down and get more detail. Even from there, we can pre-aggregate information because it understands relationships and how projects are related to other entities within the system. I can drill down and even click further, and it'll start to do things like remember the context of the conversation. Where did I leave off? How do I continue that context? It understands data elements, data types. It understands how to best represent this data. It's best represented as a bar chart. If I want to compare it to last year, it's best also represented as a bar chart with different colors. I can start to ask other questions and go back to a previous conversation. Maybe this conversation is more related to location data, so to represent the information on a map. It understands context. It understands what you're trying to ask it. And it also allows you then to continue from where you left off so that you can gain better insights and share those insights with other individuals. So Project Cloud Conversations is really all around allowing you to have a conversation with your enterprise data. So I just wanted to share those projects with you. Those are all underneath the TIBCO Labs umbrella, and we definitely encourage you to check it out. It's on our TIBCO community site. Feel free to check it out, follow the links, try some of these things out, give us your feedback, and let's work together to innovate at the edge. Thank you.